of Mr. Michael Amann. Mr. Michael Amann, also known as the Computer Guy. He's been a Karatbars affiliate since 2014, and he is the founder of the Karatbars Caribbean Group. He has represented Trinidad and Tobago at numerous international events, and his mission is to free the Caribbean people from ignorance and create a gold savers club. So many can truly harness, so many in the Caribbean can truly harness the power of gold and the Karatbars ecosystem and its many benefits. So, without further ado, let me introduce you to tonight's presentation and, of course, tonight's presenter, Tips and Tricks by Mr. Michael Amann. Michael, the floor is all over to you, sir.
You from wherever you may be, whether you welcome to all, whether you are from the Caribbean, whether you are from the United States, whether you're from Italy, from Germany, from China, from Australia, welcome. Tonight we're going to be covering a couple of things concerning the Karatbars ecosystem. I know that many of us have been bombarded by news about the COVID-19 and the coronavirus in almost every medium, every channel, the newspaper, the news, the radio, the websites, the YouTubes, the WhatsApps, the Facebook, anywhere you turn, you are getting updates on the COVID-19. So tonight we're not going to be focusing on COVID-19 because you would have already been getting updates on all that. Suffice it to say that as a result of many of the measures that many governments internationally, worldwide, are taking to combat the coronavirus and to reduce its spread and basically reduce its impact overall, there will be some economic impacts. And you who are on this call, you who are reviewing this video, are in a position to do something about it. You're in a position to be prepared for that economic avalanche that's coming. We have been talking about it for some time. You would have heard many economic commentators speaking about the bubble that is going to burst, and they call the coronavirus the pin. But as I said, tonight we're not going to focus on that, but we're going to look at a little introduction to Karatbars first, to find out why gold and especially why now. And then we're going to look a little bit about the Karat ecosystem, and we have a couple other interesting things to review as well. Okay, so before going further, let me just give a quick update on who we are, on what we do. And this is basically Howard Olson giving a presentation on why gold, why now. The message here was recorded about 3 years ago, but it is even applicable today. And when you listen to it, you will understand why. So Howard, over to you. That was ready to pop. And basically, the COVID-19 was the pin that popped that bubble. It could have been anything else. Some of the measures that the governments are taking worldwide and financial institutions in order to ease some of the burdens that many people are facing with the stock market crashing and loans going into default and so on, are going to have economic impacts down the road. And Howard Olson here is going to give an explanation as to why we are looking at gold as a hedge against the inflation that is to come. So everyone should listen. Howard.
Well, hello there. My name is Howard Olson, and in the next few moments, I'm going to share with you a revolutionary gold saving system which can quite literally create financial independence by turning spending habits into savings habits and then getting paid in both cash and gold for sharing it with others. I'm going to share with you the most powerful financial literacy program in existence today, but I want to begin with a question. When you think about most Canadians, most Americans, and people around the world, do you think they have a plan to get themselves themselves out of debt and have the ability to retire in the next 3 to 5 years? Let me ask you another question. Do you? And even if you do, how's that plan working for you anyway? You see, I've asked that question of literally thousands, if not tens of thousands of people in the last decade. And the answer that comes back is probably very similar to what you're thinking right now. And if this is true for you or someone you know, I want to share with you why that is, why there's no shame in it, but more importantly, what we can do about it. Because numbers never lie. They will always tell us the truth as long as we look at the right numbers. And since 1932, on the depths of the Great Depression, the dollar has lost 98% of its purchasing power, while gold, the vehicle that once backed our currency but no longer does, has risen in value by 6,200%. I took a snapshot of typical items being consumed in a typical home in a typical week. And you know what we discovered? Bread has gone up 959%. Movie tickets, 483%. Housing in many markets is up 1,100%. Postage stamps, 800%. And milk has gone up by 257%. So let me ask you this. Have you seen a 250 to 1,000% increase in the real wages that you can bring home in the past decade? I don't think so. I know I sure haven't, and those that I asked tell me they haven't either. And that's exactly the problem. Inflation that the government continuously tells us doesn't exist is very real. And this is why so many people are finding it so difficult to get themselves out of debt, to create any real meaningful savings, and to prepare for their financial livelihoods, because that inflation is pervasive. Let me make this absolutely clear. It is impossible to outrun exponential inflation on our declining linear incomes. But I've discovered that most people have a misconception about the nature of inflation. They believe it's an increase in the price of goods. That's the symptom. Inflation is an expansion of our money supply, which reduces the value of the notes that we have in our pockets. How did we get here? Well, it all begins in 1913 with the passing of the Federal Reserve Act, which created the Federal Reserve, otherwise known as the creature from Jekyll Island. And while most people believe that it's a U.S. government institution, it is not. It is a private corporation. It's headquartered in Puerto Rico. It's not federal. It holds nothing in reserve, and it's not even a bank. Yet since 1913, it's been dictating global and U.S. economic and monetary policy. But at least since its inception, the notes that it created, the currency we circulated, was backed by gold. And every single note backed by gold was literally exchangeable for gold. It was said that the money was as good as gold, and that's what it enabled it to become the world's reserve currency. But all that ended in 1971, August 15th, when Richard Nixon, with the stroke of a pen, closed the gold window, took the U.S. dollar and with it the rest of the world off the gold standard, and broke the good as gold promise. And from that moment forward, we were on a freely floating fiat currency. Fiat currency is literally money which is backed by nothing. It's printed out of thin air with no cost, or literally created with the click of a mouse click. And with each turn of the printing press, they expand the number of units in circulation, and the value of each of those units decreases. This is why our cost of living is going through the roof, because they're printing without any regard for tomorrow. Let's look at it like this. If you had $100,000 of the cash in 1932, the purchasing power of that currency is just $2,000 today. In other words, it takes $100 of cash today to purchase what $2 would have bought you back then. Or we could look at it like this. If you took that same $100,000 in 1932 and used it to acquire gold, the value of that gold today at the time of this video would be $6,289,308. Since 1932, gold has outperformed currency by more than 6,200%. In other words, as Voltaire has once observed, paper money, fiat currency, will always return to its intrinsic value, zero. And so everything we read, see, feel, and even instinctually understand, all the experts agree, hold gold and hedge yourself against inflation. But there's a problem with it. First of all, at $1,200 or more an ounce, it's unaffordable. Most people just simply can't afford it to create any meaningful savings with it. Secondly, it's inaccessible. Where do I get it? How do I find it? Where do I store it? How do I keep it safe are some of the questions that commonly get asked. And lastly, it's difficult to use in its current format. I mean, you can't just go down to the gas station or the grocery store, give them an ounce of gold for your next tank of gas or loaf of bread and expect to get change in return. It just doesn't work this way. So clearly gold is the answer, but we need to get it into a more usable format. And that's called a Karat bar and cash gold. 24 karat pure gold bullion produced in small units by the gram and tenths of a gram, not ounces. Karatbars International specializes in making 999.9 pure gold produced by an LBMA accredited good delivery refinery and making it readily available to people of the world by producing it in smaller, more accessible, more affordable, and transaction-friendly weights. Coming in grams and tenths of a gram, this makes gold affordable, putting it within reach of those who previously couldn't afford it, literally democratizing the ownership of it. And our whole mission is centered around a powerful savings vehicle where individuals can open a free gold savings account and convert their declining paper currency into inflation-proof gold with each deposit they make. And as affiliates, we're not really selling anything. We use the Karatbars vehicle to teach people how to create meaningful savings by simply turning a few spending habits into savings habits and exchange their declining currency for inflation-proof gold in frequencies and amounts that simply make sense to them. And when you've met your savings objective, simply exchange those units of gold back into cash at the time you need it, having fully hedged yourself against the ravages of inflation. Our whole business model is based on one simple premise. We save money first, we make money showing others a better way to save without compromising current cash flow or lifestyle, and literally get paid in both cash and gold for showing others a better way to save. And our simple 3-step gold saving system provides you a systematic wealth creation preservation plan. Undoubtedly, this is the most powerful financial literacy program in existence today. With our powerful leverage plan, you can save money, accumulate wealth, and protect your financial future by converting declining currency into spendable, stable gold while eliminating debt, accelerating your cash flow, and inflation-proofing your money all simultaneously. Now, this video was not designed to answer all your questions. It can't do that. This video was really designed to get your attention. So did we? And if we did, I want to encourage you to get all of your questions answered and get the rest of the information. We simply want to get it to you in a manner that isn't overwhelming so that you can absorb it and fully understand it. And if this resonates with you, we'll encourage you to get yourself a free gold savings account. Yes, I said free. And give you access to the entire suite of tools, and then you can decide for yourself what it is that you want to do. If you decide that you would like to save gold and perhaps even participate in the business or income opportunity, we'll teach you, train you, support you, and mentor you all the way to success as defined by you. So with that, I say, behold the power of gold. Come and join us, because really what we're doing here is building a debt-free, financially secure society, beginning with you, all those people we haven't met yet, and then ultimately with me. Thanks very much. Look forward to hearing from you and speaking with you soon.
Thank you very much, Howard. A lot of the stuff he has said, it is very, very eye-opening, especially when you take into consideration some of the news that we hear. The US has issued quantitative easing at least twice. They've expanded the money supply. They've started to literally print more money. And by pressing enter on the screen, typing in more money to give relief to many persons. There's going to be some economic fallout from that, as was stated before. So some of the prices which you spoke about, Mike Maloney, to get more information on these, check out videos by Mike Maloney, by Jim Rickards, by Ron Paul, and so on. And you would hear a lot of them in unison speaking about the economic impacts that will come soon. So you are in a position right now where you can prepare yourself by continuing to save in gold while the prices are low. The prices have officially become low recently, and in fact, it didn't really get too low. we have moved from just near 1,700 an ounce on the spot market to just about 1,500 an ounce, maybe just a little bit lower than that, but it's still insignificant. Last year at this time, gold was at 1,300 an ounce, so there was no big drastic drop as compared to many of the other things on the stock market. But in any case, as I said, you can get some more information on that. People and from those other sources, what they're basically saying is that persons have sold off some of the gold they had to cover the losses that they were experiencing in the other markets. But the mints are already explaining that the supplies are coming smaller. They're becoming more scarce, and we know what that means to price. So check out those sources, Peter Schiff, Mike Maloney, and also stay tuned to our International Power Up webinars where we can give more information on that as time goes on. We're going to explain a little bit about who we are in terms of Karat Caribbean and what are the things we have planned for 2020 and beyond. We've had to make some adjustments to these plans, of course, due to the same COVID-19, and you would not be seeing any listing of PGRs or Caribbean islands that we intend to visit. Instead, we just want to let you know that our groups are still there. We have various, we are affiliated with many affiliates in the region, from Jamaica, from Barbados, and many of us from Trinidad and Tobago as well. And we're also affiliated with various leaders from international groups too, Synergy Gold Group, Well Builders Worldwide, Karat Crypto, Gold Cash Flow Leaders with Vision, because basically we're a family. We work together led by affiliates from the region, from various groups, and we focus on keeping everyone plugged in for information, education, and updates. We still continue with our International Power Up Zoom calls. We encourage everyone to join in on Mondays at the Synergy Team Huddle at 9 p.m. with Nita Nakos and the Synergy Gold Group. And I'm sure when you plug in there, you will also get updates on what's happening with the world economy, as well as different things that's happening within Karatbars, including some updates that we expect the company to be delivering this week, some of which I will mention later on in the session tonight. On Monday coming, this would be Monday the 23rd, we have Carlos Gonzalez with his theme From the Underground Bunker, and he will be sharing the story of gold, part 3. That's at 8 p.m. on this Zoom channel. So stay tuned for the announcements and the updates. We have some wildcard sessions on Wednesday, Thursday. This means that we may or may not have a session depending on availability of persons. And of course, I will be back next week, Friday, with another edition of the tips and tricks. We are continuing some training workshops. We have crypto trading for beginners taking place with Pastor Carlos, or Crypto King Carlos, as we call him, on Monday evenings. And he has started the registrations for Crypto Trading Advanced on Thursday evenings. You stay tuned, you'll get some more information on those. We are currently reviewing, based on the cancellation of many public meetings, we are looking at solutions to provide trainings for the Key Merchant Workshop and Social Media Workshop online. Stay tuned, and as well as for conferences. Stay tuned, you're gonna get some more information on those. Okay, and we continue to encourage persons who are new to the system, as well as those who are experienced, to continue checking the goldcashflowsystem.com for updates and also for guidelines in terms of not only how to share the business with others, but also to learn how to use it yourself. Some of what I'm going to be covering tonight is also included within the Gold Cash Flow system in the Karat Academy relating to Karatbars MasterCard. And take a look at some of that just now. And we encourage persons, of course, to also to come here when you want to know what are the numbers to call for support, what email addresses do I use. We have them all listed on the website in the footer on every single page. Okay, so we try to ensure that everything we mention is accurately representing the Karatbars marketing plan and its potential. Potential means that not necessarily everybody is going to get there, right? All earnings and income examples depend solely on the ideas, techniques, knowledge, skills, and time invested in your independent business. So basically, the sky is the limit, and that limit is determined by yourself. Karatbars does not guarantee success. Only you can guarantee success, right? So we just have to give you that disclaimer, but we're still going to share information that we believe you would find useful, right? So based on what you heard about Karatbars, if you haven't heard about Karatbars before, the research has been done already. People say, okay, well, I'm going to do my due diligence, do my due research. Research has been done by the Vatican, and they have done a couple 100,000 cards. They partnered with Karatbars to issue some cards, and that was done. The research had been done by LBMA. They had a goods delivery refinery. They have a list of the approved refiners in the world, and Karatbars does business with LBMA approved refineries. Karatbars is currently doing business with not only over 140 countries around the world, each one of them with different legal requirements and so on to do business. One very interesting thing is that Karatbars has been doing business in the United States since 2011, with all requirements and all guidelines met. There are some businesses I'm hearing about that are not allowed to do business in the United States. They try to do business in other parts of the world, but they're not allowed to do business in the United States. So the mere fact that Karatbars has been doing business there and continuing to do so is very significant indeed. Similarly, their relationship with MasterCard. MasterCard has its own battery of lawyers, and they don't want to do business with scams. And I've heard of businesses that shut off the MasterCard has shut their relationship with some of those businesses within 3 to 4 months when they were not too sure what was going on with those businesses. So the fact that MasterCard still maintains this relationship with Karatbars through their agent prepaid financial services really speaks volumes. So we want to say that you take that into consideration when you're doing your research, because there's some people who post stuff out there that are actually trying to tarnish the company based on false information. FedEx is also doing business with us. And we're going to just zoom in a little bit more on Karatbars tonight. But before we do so, we want to encourage you. We have the 4-step action plan that we encourage you to follow to get started on your way to success. First, of course, you need to register for a free account. You contact your sponsor for their referral link. You get KYC approved, and then you set up your Karat Pay account. So basically, that is the first step, registration. Then, of course, once you register for your account, you want to choose the pack if you want to go do it as a business and get additional income, which many of us would need nowadays, as people may have to work from home. Some persons' jobs are on the line because they are daily pay, they work out there, and there's no option for them to work from home. So we encourage you to consider taking a business package, recommended between multi-packs 2 to 7, and you can buy it using cash code. So basically set up your business. Step 3 would be to save on a weekly or monthly basis, as stated in the video by Howard Olson before. And then, of course, you want to keep plugged in, such as you are now in this webinar. Keep plugged in to get continued education and edification. And of course, you want to do some duplication by helping others to do the same, right? So basically, that's just the guidelines for you to be successful, so that you can continue to build your assets. You can, because Karatbars is an asset building system. It's more than just saving in gold. You can save in gold, you can save in crypto, and you can earn on e-points, which is some of what we're going to talk about very shortly. So we're going to go a little bit more. I'm just going to come out of this a little bit and look at this video, which kind of goes into this ecosystem. Right, so let's go back to here. As far.
Hi, Sean Maloney, Digital Business Masters with 2113 and Karatbars. Okay, this video, we just wanted to give you a very high-level overview of the Karatbars ecosystem as we see it so far. Okay, for those of you who've been in long-standing with this project, you'll know that it started off simply as a means of people to accumulate gold in affordable amounts in small weights, and it's grown substantially over the past 10 years or so to become something much, much bigger. And this ecosystem chart will hopefully give you some indication as to how big this has become and how all this now connects to give ordinary people like you and me the maximum opportunity, not only to protect ourselves in physical gold, but also to be able to leverage all 4 streams of income in life: direct, recurring, residual, and passive. If you have read the book Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki, you'll understand how powerful it is to move right on the quadrant, establish yourself as a professional business owner, enjoying recurring income and residual income, and also at the same time to build a balance sheet of assets that mean that those assets create you something called passive income. That's exactly what you're looking at on this chart, okay? So don't worry about the relative complexity of this. By the time I've been through this over the next few minutes, hopefully it will make perfect sense. It's just a way of us visualizing exactly what this ecosystem looks like. So far, I'm recording this early in 2020, and it's a case now of connecting all the dots so that we can go forward and build financial choice, and hopefully one day get towards financial freedom, at least be positioned to enjoy that journey. So what we have is 2 main sections at the top that we operate with. This is where direct income and team building takes place, okay? Now this is, in other words, team building is business building, okay? So we're able to do that in 2 main ways. We're able to create direct income by helping people exchange fiat to come into the ecosystem through what are called gateway products. So these, at the point of recording, these are 2 initial products we have, or there's 3 actually. There's a voice over blockchain smartphone, which is very, very popular. There's over 40,000 of these going out into the world at the moment. This makes the Karatbars blockchain infrastructure very unique in the sense that it's building its own utility. It's building its own demand. That's very, very unusual inside the blockchain space as we stand early this decade, because most blockchain technologies are at the moment waiting for utility or waiting for a use case, whereas Karatbars has decided to not only ordain itself with a mainnet, what we call the Karat net, which is the blockchain infrastructure that this company owns. It's not only decided to build that, it's also decided to build products and services that reside on that infrastructure. That creates demand on a fixed supply, and therefore you're in business. So we're able to help people exchange fiat for phones, for WIM laptops, which is exactly the same technology, voice over blockchain technology, all through the company called Crypto Data. You should research those guys. Have a look at some of the amazing things they're pulling together with regards to voice over blockchain. And the K1 Impulse and the WIM are the 2 initial products that they're bringing to market, and we're helping them to do so. The Cash Gold Exchange Machine is a Karatbars product which basically allows people to take digital assets and convert them into physical assets. So we take simply a proportion of our digital blockchain-based assets, we convert them through a QR code system, a ticket system, we present them to these machines, and these machines provide us with a fixed amount of physical gold. Quite astonishing. And every time we do this type of activity, we're building our business as well. Something called units are created, which basically ordain an ability for us to convert those units into currency, and we get paid every Friday for our efforts. Exactly the same when it comes to us helping people create physical gold in their lives, or digital gold as well, which is what cash gold can be. And again, this works through a very well-established uni-level system whereby we help people in our business, thousands and thousands of people all over the world. Karatbars grows at around 30,000 new affiliates per month. There's nearly 1 million customer partners in this project right now. And that again helps create demand for gold, which is what the company's core product is. As that gold is put into the world, then us as partners create income and commissions from that activity, and we're able to build healthy incomes as well as build healthy balance sheets made of gold. So we call this building a business on gold. We're building a business on the strongest foundation you can have when it comes to your financial future, 0 counterparty risk, and making sure that everybody gets a fair chance, frankly, at protecting themselves, particularly as we go through some of the challenges that we experience in the fiat system which are underway as we speak. So gold is a first premise, products are a first premise, both are access points into the ecosystem because they enable you to then access a closed loop ecosystem to build your business from. Now, that manifests itself now in what I call multi-packs. So multi-packs are a very simple way for you to leverage your business, okay? You can access the Karatbars ecosystem for free. It's a free account. It's not an MLM because there's no repurchase, there's no qualification. You can come in and earn the uni level and simply help people accrue gold, and you get paid for doing so. That's absolutely fantastic. But if you want to grow your business into a higher level, in other words, move it from quite a one-dimensional commission direct income business and move it into a three-dimensional residual business, then you're able to access something called multi-packs. Now, this is where it gets interesting because the multi-packs, as you can see by these blue lines are basically saying, look, you can start the business for free, get moving, start creating some cash flow, build that cash flow up as well as the gold that you'll be taking into your personal ownership, physical gold that is, and then you can use those funds to start to grow your business. And that's what multi-packs provide you, okay? They provide you with business growth, which is very important because you can then take those multi-pack positions to increase your income streams, not just in fiat paid out every Friday on our Karatbars MasterCards, but also now with cash gold and exclusive points on top of the fiat income. So you're taking 3 commission streams into your life. That basically means you're getting 3 times power for the same effort. And that's very important, not just in what you do every single day with regards to your energy and enthusiasm and effort for helping people secure their financial future, but also for what your team does. And that's true residual income. It's much better to have 1% of 100 people's efforts than 100% of your own. And that is what separates fundamentally the left side of the cash flow quadrant from the right side of the cash flow quadrant. It's all about making sure that you leverage not just your energy and helping others, but in also creating income from others. Very important. So what we do then is we take these incomes, and they're all based on a nominal fiat value, okay? So obviously gold has a fiat value, fiat is fiat, and exclusive points have a fiat value. And we're able then to reside in residual income. So this golden box here is all about residual income. That's a fund that's building all the time in your business through the activity of yourself and others. But we don't just stop there. What we do is we're able then to siphon off either side of the income that's coming through from our multi-pack position into something called a crypto debit card, okay, which is where cash gold can go through, for example. There's a number of ways to fund it, but cash gold funds the card, and that very act is commissionable. So if your teams, for example, are building up their crypto debit card funds with cash gold, that creates income to you. That's a commissionable activity, okay? So those commissions start to build. On the opposite side, you're able to maneuver exclusive points, for example, into our exchange called Karatbit. And as that takes place, that's commissionable. So that's more residual income coming into your business through your team's activities, utilizing these functions. Those commissions can go back up to fund enhanced multi-packs, increased multi-packs as you go through your business. A multi-pack needs to be renewed periodically, and that's because it's a franchise. You know, you're buying a right to enjoy 3 income streams, okay? So periodically you'll take some of these commissions back to fund your next round in terms of multi-pack position so that you can keep your business growing. You'll encourage and help your teams to do the same, and the whole thing becomes a cycle. And that's very, very important as you start then not just to enjoy the cash flow that is created through your activity in the multi-packs and because of your business position, but you're also then going to start to take some of this residual income and nurture it into other business activities, which is where passive income starts to come into play. Now, passive income is the holy grail. Okay, we've spoken about residual income. That's the top right of the cash flow quadrant in terms of you being a business system owner. Passive income is even more special because that is when money's working for you, okay? Now, Karatbars very cleverly have turned this into a third dimension. They've said, okay, well, we can create residual income for people and people can use that income to grow their business the way I've just described, but they can also put that residual income to work on products that have specific functions and specific purposes. So let's have a look at some of those in brief. Carry Merchant is a very special gateway product that allows ordinary businesses, you know, restaurants, bars, hoteliers, bed and breakfast, car dealerships, you name it, people and businesses in your community, it allows them to activate inside this ecosystem. So rather than just being paid in fiat, which after all is a devaluing asset, it will always fall in its ability to purchase stuff. So business owners are very open to the idea of being paid in assets as well. And those assets manifest on the blockchain. For example, you can be paid in Bitcoin, you're paid in Ethereum, or you can be paid in KBC, which is fundamentally gold. And you're able then to create asset wealth as that business owner creates its purpose, its use, its products, its services using K-Merchant. Now you, as the referrer of K-Merchant to that business, take commission from the activity that's going on every day. So as that restaurant sells food and sells beverages, then you create a small residual income from that very function. It's very, very powerful. And obviously that gets paid to you in assets. So K-Merchant is incredibly powerful and a great way for you, for example, to use up some of your residual income as you take exclusive points into the exchange, for example, into cryptocurrencies. You can go and then spend them at your local establishment, not spending cash, spending currency, spending cryptocurrency, which means, ironically, if you're inside that establishment buying a cup of coffee, you're being paid for buying your own cup of coffee. That's how powerful that is in a closed loop ecosystem such as Karatbars. Similarly with Karatbit, Karatbit again, is we've already discussed up here, is an exchange. It literally does what it says. It exchanges from one type of asset to the other. And Karatbit again, as activity is taking place in your business by people that you have referred into this business, then you take a commission. Okay, very, very powerful. Same with a trader. This isn't you trading. This is a series of bots or expert traders. If you choose to take a proportion of your residual income and place it into the trader platform for a period of time to create forward momentum with your assets, putting your assets to work, then you obviously take the reward for that decision. And the same again, it's commissionable as you help other people to do the same in your business. Okay, so it's all about putting money to work. That's all this is. You're putting money to work all the time inside the system, and at all times fees are being generated, and those fees are based on KBC, which we'll come back to in 1 second. Similarly, subscriptions. The phones and the WIM laptops and the other products we have are all based on subscription infrastructure. So in order to make a voice over blockchain phone call, then you will fund that by using KBC. And those subscriptions build up, and as your teams use the equipment and subscribe to the various products, then that is commissionable. You get a commission because of the use of people in your team using these devices and subscribing for them. Okay. Then we have vaults. Vaults are already established, very, very special indeed. You basically hold an amount of gold inside the vaults for a period of time. It's 365 days, and every 365 days on the anniversary of when you put the gold in the vault, you take a reward between 4 and 15% currently. Okay, so what many of us do is we place a small amount of gold inside the vaults monthly, so that 12 months from that point, we'll get a continuous monthly income in gold from the vaults that we've placed gold into. And this is all driven here, don't forget, by us being paid in cash gold, being paid in exclusive points, which is transferable to gold, so that we can continually fill the vaults and increase our reward passive income every single month. Very, very powerful indeed. Last but not least, for those of us fortunate enough to have nodes, nodes are similar to vaults in terms that they provide a reward payout as long as you own the seat. They're very, very rare, they're difficult to get hold of now, but they do become available periodically. And you hold KBC in those nodes, and for example, a super node pays out about pays out exactly actually 50,000 KBC every single month, which is a pure passive income in the underlying asset, which, as I say, KBC is the fundamental asset that operates all the fees inside all these products, and obviously more demand on KBC at a limited supply means our asset accrues in value. Because at the end of the day, what all this is about, all this work from helping people convert devaluing fiat currency into a business infrastructure through the various mechanisms to create more passive income and residual income, to then put that into work on various products. At the end of the day, what it's all about is accruing asset positions in a diversified manner. Not just gold, not just KBC, not just fiat money, but up to 6 different asset positions as we go through this next phase. So I'm recording this early 2020. This is where we expect the company to be taking to us next. We're looking for information, for example, on the IPO still, etc., etc. But the point still remains that this is about positioning yourself inside asset positions that create passive income. That's how the most successful companies operate. That's how the rich remain rich. They
go from the start. Thanks everyone for watching this overview right now. This is a sort of a workflow showing from the start how commissions come in from the uni level and the sale of products and services, and how we all get to benefit from it overall. Right, so I hope that was helpful to persons who are affiliates already. We have 2 other things I just want to go into quickly. Let's get back to where we had reached in the presentation, because we wanted to just go into a certain situation that has occurred locally, and then we're going to close off with an overview of the mastering the MasterCard. Okay, so we had a situation in Trinidad and Tobago. One of the affiliates in Trinidad and Tobago recently experienced a very, very serious situation. His house had burnt down. Okay, so we had created a quick video to highlight his situation. His name is Paul Callist, and this is his story. This is the situation that that had occurred. Here we go.
All right, so good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
My name is Alan. What's yours?
My name is Paul Callist.
So how was your fire?
Well, it was in a serious situation that I cannot explain because I was not home at the point in time, and when everything happened, I didn't know what to say because my brother called me and told me, Paul, come past my house burning down. So I was shocked because about a few minutes ago I heard the fire brigade going up the road, but I say, well, it had a crash or something up the road. So when I said that now, when he told me that, I was shocked. So I didn't really take him on to the police at the beginning, but then I tell myself, let me go and really see what take place, and I decided to hurry up and go. When on my greatest surprise, my home was burning down, you know.
Okay, well, I had a similar situation like that in 2017. The 18th April 2017, I had a similar situation like that where my house burned down and lose everything. So I know how it really feels, you know, and it have a lot of people reach out to me, you know, they call me, and I was able to get assistance from people, and I really want to say, you know, thanks, you know. So how it feel right now? How it is right now?
Well, the situation right now, well, I get very small assistance, and I'm thankful for the little thing, but it's not nothing that I could, and people give me money to see if I could get from a daily routine, because they say I might need little things, and and I accept it, and I thank that the little that come, I accept it too, and well, it's plenty cleaning up, because the place is now a total mess, and just trying to get rid of something. Well, the government said they would have given my help, but I didn't see the help come as yet. They told me today, but when I look out, they didn't came in as yet. So I hope that tomorrow, please God, that they come and they help me and just to clean out the entire area, so that I could try to rebuild something again at a point in time.
Okay, well, I encourage you, my brother, to be strong at this time. I know it is a great loss. As I tell you, I know how it feels, that because that day when I experienced that fire, 2017, the 18th, it was a Tuesday afternoon, right? And it was not easy when I came home. I was in Arima doing some stuff, and somebody called me and said, Alan, your house burned down? I said, no. So I continued doing my business, and when I reached down the night and I see the state, how it was, I say, okay, and I accept that the house burned down. And it wasn't easy. And at that time in my life, I asked myself certain questions, Lord, why is me? But then I didn't move or stay long there. I get up and I quickly start to retrieve, you understand? So we are asking, just like how people assist me and people lend me the support and lend me the helping hand, we are asking on behalf of this brother, right? Because you never know what could be your situation, and you may want assistance too. So we are asking any assistance on this brother behalf. We will really appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate what you're saying, and I'm thankful, because I really need a little assistance on anybody's behalf who is willing to give me a little assistance. I will appreciate it very much in the name of Jesus Christ. I appreciate everything, because I barely had anything. Well, some of my son things burn out and things, clothes and things, and it was a situation, because the children and them, well, me is the comfort, because when they come by me, they will enjoy themselves and thing, and right now, it have no comfort there for them, and I appreciate anything that granted unto me.
Can you state your address?
State the address.
Address.
Well,
where the address of the place and where you're staying now?
I was staying at Mapkin Village, Miaro, 3/4 mile Mark Road.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And a telephone number, contact?
Well, my telephone number is 294-6503. Paul Callis, my name. 294-6503.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much. So anybody who want to give this brother assistance, you could also contact me, Alan Lieben, at 361-6965. And you could also contact Marlon Modest. That is Lamby Street, Vista Bella. That is 313-4932. Thank you very much for your assistance.
So that was Paul Callis. Thank you very much for listening to his plight. That situation had taken place since February of this year. We're in the month of March. We've crossed the middle of March, and to date he has still not received assistance from the government. And even when they do, it will only go so far. So we are asking persons to pitch in and support this drive to help this fellow new affiliate. He recently signed up with Karatbars, and then this has happened. So we are seeking to get support to help him in his rebuilding effort. Persons who are asking how they can help. What are the things they can do to support? And this is how you can help. The rebuilding effort was estimated to be roughly $120,000 to get all of the materials needed to rebuild his home. This works out to approximately less than $20,000 US. Okay, so this may be our roughly 15,000 euros in all. Persons who can do so can aid by either cash or kind. If you're donating cash and you're from Trinidad and Tobago, actually you can also get routing numbers for Republic Bank of the internet, the SWIFT codes and so on. But the Republic Bank in Trinidad and Tobago account number 470-023-270-631. And if you're going to donate in kind, we have a list of different materials that are needed: 160 bags of cement, 2,800 red blocks, 3 boxes of concrete nails. So we have nails, foundation blocks, plywood, galvanized sand, and a couple of these items. We're going to put the listing, this entire list of things that are needed, in the description of the YouTube video that you just saw. In fact, that is going to be made public. You can do a quick YouTube search in it, affiliates, Karatbars Affiliates House Burned Down, and you will find the video and you can see the information there. We'll also be including a link that you can go on to identify which are the areas that you can contribute. And you can do so, we can get in touch with you and we can make the arrangements to make it happen. So let's reach out to help Paul Calist. Let's help him to rebuild, especially in this time when, you know, when people are being told to stay home, people are being told not to go to work. Where can he stay? You know, he doesn't have a home of his own to stay. He has to go by family to accommodate them that are accommodating him in the interim. All right, so let's reach out. Let's help out Mr. Paul Calist, and we're going to continue to give you updates on how the progress of this request is moving as time goes on. So we want to round up today by going into mastering the MasterCard. Many of us, of course, when we are in Karatbars, one of the first things we would want to do would be to get a Karatbars MasterCard. That is the means through which we get our commissions and through which we can pay for goods and services. So I just want to come out of the PowerPoint session, and to get to the card, we're going to go through some of the main things you would need to know. Of course, once you log into Karatbars, I think I may have to log out, but on the dashboard, you would see that obtaining the Karatbars is actually at step 3. When you register your package, you order your package, you do your KYC. One thing persons are encouraged to do would be to order their prepaid MasterCard one time, where we receive our commissions. Okay, to order the MasterCard, let me see if this is here. I may have to log out first. But there is a menu you would see on the top once you log into your Karatbars account. Just log in here. Once your account is KYC approved, you can order the MasterCard. You cannot order the MasterCard if you are not KYC'd, meaning if your ID and address, you need to have proof of address, proof of a mailing address, that is, with a utility bill or bank statement submitted to the company, and also a copy of your ID and a copy of your selfie with yourself holding the ID sent to the company through profile KYC, right? And in this account, this is a test account I have the KYC approved. I had to go through a couple of times, but eventually got it approved. So now when I'm ready, I can just come across the MasterCard, click on MasterCard, and I would see basically it's here ready to purchase. The cost of it is 50 euros. Actually, the cost is around 20 euros. The difference would be FedEx deliveries fees, right? If one lives in Europe, they would get an option to have this delivered for actually around 20 euros instead. Right? In international, the cost is 50. If you were to go to checkout to purchase the card, you would see that there's a very small, once you agree to all of the things you need to agree to, right? And you go next, and you go next. You can order the card with a credit card through bank wire transfer, and you can also purchase the card through Bitcoin. if you have a K merchant account, you can actually use Bitcoin or Ethereum to purchase the Karatbars prepaid MasterCard. So if you didn't know that before, you know it now. You can use Bitcoin to purchase the MasterCard. And if you were to choose credit card, you would see there's a little fee, a processing fee of 1.81 euros. So the actual cost you'll be paying is 51.81. You're paying with Bitcoin. Basically, you choose the currency, but you'll be paying 50 euros worth in whichever currency that is. The bank wire transfer, there's no fee. The fee would be the bank wire fee that you pay to the bank when you're sending it out to them. So you can use your choice. Most people just use a credit card to purchase their MasterCard. Once the MasterCard is received, you will get an email, as well as you will also get communication from the company and within the card itself for a website to call to activate the card. And for persons who have trouble activating the card, some persons have, in some countries, they're supposed to get a text with the PIN. And if you're in a situation where you're not receiving the PIN coming to your phone, here's a workaround. You go to goldcashflowsystem.com. As I explained before, you go down to the footer, and you would see here there's some numbers for prepaid financial services. For PIN activations, there's one of 3 numbers you can call. Sometimes I have challenges with the US number, to be honest. So I can call the Canadian number. Basically, you'll get a interactive voice recording to enter the card number that you have and enter your date of birth. And then the PIN will be read out to you. You will hear something like 5, 3, 8, 1, whatever it is. And it always works. So this is a workaround for persons who have trouble activating their cards. Take note, this is something that is very handy to know. Once you do have your card, you want to find out some information about the card, the menu will change. Once you get the card and you activate it, you'll get a menu looking something like this. Once it comes up, you'll see a listing of the transactions on the card so far. You'll see what the balance is right now. And you can get a view of the terms and conditions and privacy policy. Some people are asking, Michael, what is the service charge on the card every month? What is the maximum I can load? What's the maximum I can spend? Stuff like that. You can get all of that in the terms and conditions, which you can click right here, terms and conditions, and that will open up a PDF file. You can download the file, you can watch it in your browser. And I encourage some persons don't like to read terms and conditions, but there's some very interesting information that you will find in these terms and conditions. Not only would you get, well, of course, you have some pages, definitions. It's 20 pages, but you would notice that about 4 or 5 of these pages is more definitions and so on. But there's some very interesting things that I would encourage persons to review that would highlight. For example, let's look at item number 5.12. Do you know, for example, that you can apply for up to 3 secondary cards for use by additional card holders on your account? If you didn't read your terms and conditions, you would not know that. Additional card holders with whom you are legally responsible must be 13 years of age and older. All other additional card holders must be 18 years of age or older. So you can have, it is possible for you to share your card with one person who is 13 years and older. Of course, you accept the responsibility to authorize transactions incurred by the additional card holders and your relevant secondary card. So you will still have your primary card. Let's say you have for a Karatbars account and you want other persons in your family to use your card for that. So you may have someone in school, someone going to college. You may have your spouse working or someone at home. And you have sufficient in your account and you want them to use it. You can apply for a secondary card. This is one of the gems that comes up when you review the terms and conditions. And of course, you have access by third-party providers, conditions for use at certain merchants, how to protect your account. There's some very important information for you to go through. And for the details on the charges related to the card and what your access limits are, you can go to the fee and limit schedule, which is on pages 19 and 20 of the document. I just want to point out 2 or 3 main ones. For example, to activate the card, it's free. Minimum load is 15 euros. So if you have 9 euros waiting to be paid out in your account, you will not get paid on your MasterCard. When your commissions cross 15 euros, only then it will be deposited in your card. And you can load up to, if you can actually load up to 1,000 euros. This is in terms of the initial limits, right? However, the card can hold up to 50,000 euros on your card balance, right? I got a call from someone explaining that they had a payout in their back office and the pay not going to the card, and they didn't understand why the pay is not going to the card. The reason was because the card had reached the maximum card balance of 50,000 euros. So they had to spend some of this in order to make room for the commissions to go on the card. So this is a really, really nice problem that someone can have. And you have a maximum daily spend of 10,000 euros from this card. The persons in some countries of the world have limits in terms of how much they can spend in a foreign currency. And persons who are in one of our banks in Trinidad and Tobago, they have a debit card too. They can spend up to 500 US per month. With this card, we can spend up to 10,000 euros per day, which is a big difference. And of course, the prepaid financial services will have to have some ways to get their fees in terms of their bread and butter, basically, for operating. It is a business for them. So we do have some service charges to pay, right? But they're very minimal and comparable to many card providers internationally. So you can go through these 2 pages, page 19 and 20 of the terms and conditions to get more details on those. Once you're ready to use the card, you would need to go to PFS login. You click here. You will be taken to another site. This is not a Karatbars site. This is a prepaid financial services website because they are the issuer of the debit card. So if you got the card for the very first time and you never logged into prepaid financial services, you will need to click on not already registered because you're going to now register your card in prepaid financial services. You will be asked what the card number is, and then you'll be able to put in some additional information like the username you want to use in prepaid financial services. I recommend using the same username that you have with the Karatbars account. So, you won't have that much new things to remember. And once it's linked, it's easier for support as well, so that if you have an issue with your card, you can email support at Prepaid Financial Services, and they could link your username with the username in Karatbars, as the case may be. Once you're logged in, of course, you can log in. And I want to do something interesting here. Okay. When you're ready with the account, there's 3 other things that you can do with the account, some of which is unique to credit card holders. One of the things that you can do, and I will go from top down, you can view the account details, make sure that all the information is correct, right? That's fine. You can edit account details if there's any information here that is incorrect. But this information, once you activate properly, would have been pulled from your Karatbars account or entered when you registered with Prepaid Financial Services. Okay, so if you were to edit account details, you can actually do that, make any changes that you need to. Main thing you would need to change here really would be the email address. The rest of it has to tie with your Karatbars account. Okay. You can view transaction history. Here, you can look at the current balance, and then you can basically drop down from what year, from what date, from what month, to what, so you can choose what period. You can zoom in on transactions over a particular period to get information about your previous history, which is important for persons who want to track down a payment. Loading card. This is something that is very interesting. What the loading card is allows you to add an additional pre-registered debit or credit card to your prepaid financial services card. In this case, I linked a card number that is ending in 4002, which is a card that I have for my bank here locally in Trinidad and Tobago. And I put in the expiration date and so on, and I can link the card. To register the loading card, I would have had to load it, but this is registered already. If you didn't do it before, this is where you'd come to do it. So when ready to load funds from that card, you basically come down to that menu item, load funds. You can load by card. And again, as I said, this card ends with 4002. I would then enter the CVC code and choose the amount I want to load onto my Karatbars card from my existing credit or debit card. And I can load in prepaid financial services from $10 up to $500 per transaction. I think the daily limit is 1,000. I'm not too sure. I didn't really have to do that often. But this is how you can load funds from your existing card to your Karatbars MasterCard. I think there may be a little challenge right now. There was a little issue that the support team is working on. Last time I tried to load, I had a little issue, but it is something that is possible. The other thing, just gonna skip payment request for a little bit. One other thing you can do is you can transfer funds from your existing card to another card. So you have a family member who's in the United States or in another country, or even in a remote location, even in your house, but you want to send some funds to them to help pay a bill or something. For example, with Paul Caliste, as I said, he recently joined Karatbars, so he doesn't have his card as yet. But once he does, and you get to know his card number, you can actually type the number in here, type the amount you want to transfer. Let's say if it is 200 euros, type in the password, and boom, the funds will be deducted from my account and then go over to his Karatbars MasterCard. So you can send funds from one Karatbars MasterCard to another one, right? Lastly, I just want to mention the payment request form. This would allow and facilitate persons to actually do a wire transfer to another account. If you know the SWIFT code, the IBAN, and all of these other information, you can wire transfer from your Karatbars account to any other company or any other account in the world that supports IBAN and SWIFT code, right? So that, in an essence, is the overview of the features of the Karatbars MasterCard that many persons may not be aware of. There's a lot of power in it. There's some persons who have not even registered in prepaid financial services as yet. I encourage you to do so. So that would wrap up my quick presentation for tonight for the Karat Tips and Tricks Season 2020, Episode 12. And I'll hand it over back to you, Larry.
All right. Thank you so much, Michael, for that presentation. For many of us who would have been on this call from the beginning, this call is being recorded. It will be uploaded in the various chat rooms in about an hour's time. So if you have any inquiries, you can always revisit the video and look at the various information, the types of information Michael would have shared. Of course, a lot of work would have gone into that. I'm really happy to see we had at least 25 plus persons. And I say 25 because I'm not including myself and Michael, who are actually on the call. So we're looking forward as we continue to promote Karatbars and to educate. We are looking at the Zoom platform. Many of us who are not too familiar with the Zoom platform would realize that this is the preferred means of communication now, knowing that we are dealing with social distancing. And I don't think it's going to change in the not too distant future. It just means that we're going to be using more and more digital interaction. So we're going to be coming out to you with a lot of information apart from our weekly Zoom presentations. We're going to be working on different components in how we can reach the average individual in terms of our education, in terms of helping people understand the dynamics of what it is that you have, that everyone in Trinidad and Tobago, the region, and by extension, the world, should have a gold savings account. And you would have seen the fluctuating prices of of gold and silver, but generally speaking, if you looked at the World Gold Council report, you would recognize that gold still has maintained its purchasing power, irrespective of what you would have seen in the financial markets this week. When I logged in on Monday looking at Bloomberg Market, I came in just in time to see the market fall, where they actually had to apply something called a circuit breaker in order to suspend trading for 15 minutes to avoid a massive hemorrhage. Once the stock market falls up to 20%, it means that they will have to suspend trading for the entire day. Fortunately, it only went up to 10%. But 2,000 points on the Dow Jones Industrial Average is equivalent to over $1 trillion in market liquidity that was absolutely lost. So persons who would have been trading or have accounts and investment portfolios on the stock market would have lost heavy this week and by extension last. For the month so far, 3 consecutive losses in terms of the stock market, an indication of what's happening in terms of the coronavirus. Majority of the economies of scale have actually, shut down practically. Borders have been closed off. So what does that mean? It means that we still have an opportunity, that you can still prosper in this crisis, ladies and gentlemen, as it relates to promoting your Karatbars business, as it relates to acquiring gold as a hedge against the futuristic uncertainty that is continuing. This is just the beginning. We spoke about this so many times in 2019. It's only a matter of time before we're going to see a futuristic renewal of some of those things that we spoke about. The Fed has injected over $1 trillion over the last 2 weeks. They're printing more money. So there are going to be negative consequences to printing more fiat currencies and putting that into the system. Of course, the Fed is between a rock and a hard place, in terms of trying to keep the economy alive. So many things happening, and that's why your financial education is very important. So Michael, I want to thank you so much for being so open in terms of sharing this information. It is so welcome, it is so needed, and we're going to continue our drive to continue to educate as much persons as possible. We're just about 15 minutes after the hour of 9. We're going to be closing off now. But Mike, your final closing comments for all our participants listening in, for what to expect moving forward, and your personal commentary for what has happened so far.
Yes. So you're quite right in everything you have stated there. Continue to look closely at what's happening in the world market. For persons who want to get more information, as stated before, on some of the impacts, as Larry has been doing, you need to educate yourself. You need to be informed. You do not wait until the wells run dry to dig a well. You need to dig it from now. So yes, I'll endorse everything Larry has said. Listen to Mike Maloney, listen to Peter Schiff, and prepare yourself for gold. So thank you very much until we come again.
All right, Mike, thank you once again. And guys, this call is a wrap. Look forward to next week, Tuesday, with Pastor Carlos as we continue our drive towards educating and presenting you real content that you can actually learn and grow as you continue along this journey, your own portfolio journey with Karatbars International. Thank you so much. Have a pleasant night, everyone.